a second. And then I'm just gonna pull comments up on my iPad, which is almost dead. Okay. All right, I am here. And we're gonna need a heat tool. My kids have everything under the sun plugged in my office right now. My iPad got unplugged. All right. So I just want to do some crafting. So I'm gonna need a stamp positioning tool. So let's use my Stamparatus. Whoops, I'm so sorry. I think that's what I'm gonna try to use. I might have to use my Misty. And then I have some colors here with Stampin' Up, just some fall colors. I have Crushed Curry, Pumpkin Pie, Cajun Craze, and then Garden Green. And I have this stamp set, and when I saw this stamp set, I immediately wanted to watercolor this in metallics. So I do have this like metallic set of watercolors, and I thought, what would happen if I mixed some of this with some of the colors? So I don't know how this is gonna go. I've never done this before. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it either. So I have these, and we'll use these, and then we're gonna use these colors. And then the other thing that I might get out and use are my Nuvo drops, because those could work too. So we'll see. So I'm kind of in a funk. I'm struggling a little bit. I have some watercolor paper here. This is black watercolor paper, and that is why I need a stamp positioning tool, because I'm gonna need to stamp this a couple times. And I'm thinking, so first I'm gonna cut this down so it will fit in here. And then we're gonna chat while I'm doing all of this. So let's cut this at 5.5. And then we're gonna cut it at 4 1/4. So the kids are on fall break this week, which is really, really nice. I cannot believe we're already on fall break. I mean, it seems like crazy to me that we're already here. But it's been much needed with Kayla being in volleyball, and then kind of all the things going on with Violet and getting her settled. I personally am tired of driving, tired of being in the car, and I don't like driving too much to begin with. And we're in California where gas is $7,000 a gallon. So it is nice that we're on fall break, and I'm enjoying that. I'm struggling a little bit with just all the things going on in the world. I mean, I know, right, like everybody is probably dealing with this to some degree. I think I need the foam thing in here. Yes, I think I do. Oh, I have the foam thing in here. See, this is the only thing I probably never use my Stamparatus properly. But that, I mean, do I need 2 in here? I didn't think that you needed 2. Let's just see. So, I just am struggling. There's just so much happening in the world, and I don't even watch the news. You guys, I don't even, you know, I don't even watch it. And I just, yeah, I think maybe just one of these, but is that gonna work? Let me see, what else do I have in here? I have some grid paper. So let me see. And so because of that, I just haven't been on top of things as well as I should be. And then and when you do this for a business, it's like it just takes one thing to happen to get you off track, and it just feels like you'll never catch up again. And I've been wanting to do some memory keeping projects, and like they're all scattered all over the place, and I don't know, I don't know if anybody else is maybe feeling overwhelmed, I guess maybe is a good word, but I certainly am. So I wanted to post, I wanted to do this card. I wanted to do this idea, and I thought I'm just going to go live, and then that sort of eliminates some work for me, and like editing and upload time. And so I thought, let's just do that. And I always like being honest with you guys and saying, like, sometimes I just struggle. And this is one of those weeks where we're just struggling, and it just seems like life is hard right now. So the best thing to do when you're struggling is to craft, right? So I'm gonna take, I've not used black watercolor paper all that much. So I don't know how this is gonna go. So what I want to do is I want to stamp this, right? I want to stamp it. And then I want to use gold embossing powder. And then I want to color this. And I want to see how that's going to turn out. So with watercolor paper, because it's thicker, and depending on if it's textured, I want to be able to stamp this multiple times. I know my ink pad is good, so that's good. It's also not helping that in California, it's still like 90 plus degrees here. And I'm just so, it is freaking the middle of October, and I am so over this stupid heat. It's like I have found myself this week just being angry that it's hot out. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the gold embossing powder and see what kind of coverage I have. And then if I need to, I think I'll be able to still stamp that again if I need to. So I don't know how this is gonna go. This is gilded. The embossing powder is Brutus Monroe, and the color is gilded. And it is my favorite gold embossing powder. Okay, so let's heat set this. It looks pretty good. The coverage looks pretty good. So I'm gonna set all this aside so I don't knock it over. And then let's grab some tweezers and heat set this and see what happens. So I'm gonna let my heat tool heat up for just a second. Hey, Lynn. Okay, so let's heat set this. There we go. I think it's stamped pretty good. So I don't think I need to stamp it again. I don't know if I really got it centered well. I mean, maybe this can just be my test. My test run to see if this works out how I think. Okay. Now, I don't really know if I should... Oh, I don't think I got all of this. I don't really know if I should. Oh, making cards. How nice, Lynn. Can you believe that this year is almost over? So I pulled out a couple paintbrushes that I have. Now, Andrew likes getting into my paintbrushes. So I thought I had more of a variety than I do. Okay. So I'm going to open these up so that... And there's just some color in here. I feel like I haven't been around all that much either, quite honestly, Lynn. I feel like I just have not been in the best place of getting content out well. I don't know. I feel like I've had a lot. This year has been emotionally really, really hard. So then I have some water and a paper towel. You could use, you know, your water brushes if you wanted. You could use a Wink of Stella. Maybe I'll leave that out just in case. And then I was going to try to use this spatula just to get some water in these, just to soften. I need a little, like a little syringe kind of thing, and I don't have one. So let's just... So these are metallics. So I'm hoping that what will happen is I can mix some of the metallic with some color. I mean, I'm certainly no watercolor expert. I think maybe I might have too much water in there. These watercolors are beautiful. I specifically got them because I wanted something with metallic. Oh yeah, that one's good. Oh, this might be really fun. And then here's a more yellowy gold. And I just got these off Amazon. I just wanted something, you know, somewhat inexpensive that I could try out. I mean, I know Andrew and I were watching this gal that does, she makes her own watercolors. And there's like, I don't know, I think there were 6 different colors. They were smaller than this. They were like, maybe if you cut this into 4s, that's how big the little wells were of her watercolors. And for 6 of them, they were $195. And I was like, oh my heavens. I mean, they were beautiful. Don't get me wrong. They were beautiful. But I was like, you are kidding me. Okay, so let's just try this out. So maybe let's try with the leaves first. So maybe a little bit of the gold and then we'll mix it in with the green. Again, I don't know if this is gonna work. We're just gonna give it a try. Okay. And my hope is maybe it'll come out really pretty. That's my hope. So I don't want to mix, like, oh, see, that was a little green still. I don't want to mix the actual color in with the water paint, because obviously I don't want to contaminate the golds, you know, these. Okay, but from what I can tell, this works. So it's going to be a little bit hard to pick up on camera, like how shimmery this is, but I'll pick it up and I'll get it closer to the camera. So I don't always like doing, like, this is obviously very, very detailed. And for the most part, if you've been following me, you know that I really prefer to keep my card making simple. But this, when I saw this image, and this is the Fond of Autumn stamp set. When I saw this, I really wanted to try this. I'm also not like all that great at like understanding these crafty kind of things that will work, because I'm a simple crafter, right? So like I had no idea if like mixing this stuff would work. I mean, I know our inks are water-based, so I know there's a lot that you can do with them. And I really never feel like I use them to their potential. So I thought there was a good chance that it could work, but you know. So now let's maybe get another green. Let's use Old Olive. So let's just get that ink in here. And I don't know, this might be I want maybe like a little bit of a lighter green. I want you guys to be able to see. So maybe let's rinse this. And then let's do in the Old Olive, let's do like a lighter gold, like a lighter shimmer. Oh, I think this is going to be really pretty. So I don't know if that's coming out lighter. So this is with the Old Olive, but it almost feels like the same color green. All right. Well, let's move on to a different color so I can think about that. The other thing I might be able to do is like, let's take another paintbrush and come back into the garden green. I mean, it's certainly not going to hurt to just experiment a bit. Okay. So now let's do maybe some of the flowers. I like this one particular brush. It's okay, so this is Cajun Craze. And let's do this white metallic. This might have been exactly what I needed to just have a bit of a moment. Okay. Sort of loses the detail of this stamp. I want it to be a little darker. And I think we can add more color to this. I really like the depth of that leaf when I went back and then just added some more of the green on top of it. So let's do a couple of these and this, and then we'll come back. My struggle with watercoloring is I like the look of it, but I never feel like I do it well. So I always give up. I'm always like, oh, this doesn't look good. And I think from what I've seen with other people when they watercolor, it's like they just keep going. So let's add a little bit more. Okay, that's definitely darker. I mean, so this, I mean, just going for it, I'm not happy with it. And with anything that's brand new that you're trying out, I mean, you can't really expect it to be perfect on the first go, right? It's like it takes you maybe a few minutes, you know, or a couple times doing something to get the feel for it. So the only thing that I'm feeling like I wish was a bit different, and this might be because it's black watercolor paper, right? So that's going to make a difference. Is I'm wishing for a little bit more color variation. And again, we might be able to get that by going back. So I'm going to go back and add a little bit more of that. This is Cajun Craze, so like that dark kind of orangish brown. I'm going to add that. Okay. So now let's do a little bit of the yellow. And for the yellow, I'm going to go ahead, because I'm going to use Cajun Craze. Or I'm sorry, this is Crushed Curry. So I'm going to use some of that yellow gold, so that it's definitely really yellow. Oh no, that's so pretty. And that definitely gives us another color. So that is beautiful on this black paper. That is so pretty. And as it dries, it definitely dries back a little bit. So you want to be aware of that. Okay, so let's bring in a red. So let's bring in Poppy Parade, because it's definitely like a brighter color. Okay. So let's use for the red. Let's use this. This is Champagne Gold. Okay, and then we're going to want a lot of water in here. So this is going to make, adding that champagne color, this has almost made it like a burnt orange. That's pretty. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's very pretty. And I'm really just dropping that color in there. It's going to set on the top of the paper for a little bit until it kind of soaks in. But this is watercolor paper, so I'm confident that it can take that, that amount of moisture. So then we'll do the middles. That's very pretty. Whoops. Let me get a wipe. I just dropped. This is very soothing. Maybe this is what I needed today, because I really have just struggled. Okay, so that's very pretty. So let's work with some more green. But I really, because it's such, there's so much. Let's add, this says blue gold. So let's add some of that blue gold to the green. Maybe we can really darken up that green and get a little bit of variation. You could also use your re-inkers to do this, particularly if you needed to add more ink to darken it up. Oh, and I guess the leaves don't just have to be green. Let's do like a combination, because this is fall. So like, let's do this one green and yellow with this really beautiful yellow. Like, let's mix it. And then the very tip, it's like I just realized, like, this is fall, so this is pumpkin pie, so we could do some orange too. Oh, that's very pretty. This yellow gold seems to work really well for this. It seems to be like the perfect amount of shimmer. So now this is the pumpkin pie with the yellow gold. And that looks beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do is now, can I come in here and like, I'm going to add a couple to these that I just did green. And then we'll also do some yellow. Like we'll do oh, hold on, I gotta text my kid back. Okay. Andrew will probably get a kick. That was Andrew. I just had to text back. And he'll probably get a kick out of this project, out of me watercoloring like this. He really loves watercoloring like this. Okay, and then let's do, so I have the tops of these acorns. This is really beautiful. I'm glad I tried this. I was really nervous to try this. So let's do, I'm just adding like some yellow to the tips of the leaves. Just so it, in the light, as this shifts, it will look like the leaves are changing colors, right? Like in fall. And that's really the look I was going for. Okay, and then on top of these flowers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I'm trying to think. This is Cajun Craze. And this is Poppy Parade. And I really want like a darker, like dried back a little pinkish. I mean, it's not bad. right? Like, but it just, I think it's because I used that white instead of the more gold, which again, that's what happens when you're just experimenting. So let's just actually use, like, let's use the champagne gold for the tops of these. Hopefully it'll settle down into those, to all of the circles, like the design on the paper there. Okay, that is so pretty. Look at how pretty this turned out. Okay, so let's set this aside because now we need to figure out how to turn this into a card. Okay, so I ended up using Garden Green. So this worked awesome. So this was the little set I got on Amazon. I believe it was like $11.99. It really was not that expensive. So that's the little set I got on Amazon that has the metallic paints, and then I just used my ink pads. So I used Garden Green, I used Crushed Curry, I used Cajun Craze, Poppy Parade, and then pumpkin pie, a little bit of pumpkin pie. Trying to see if I can catch that light. It's so pretty. As it dries. So this is a full card front, right? So now what I'm gonna do is, let's do a black card base. Now I have this piece of, this is old orange pumpkin pie glimmer paper. It's chunky. The glitter on there is chunky. Let's do it this way. Oh, I'm still gonna need this. Then let's do this. And then what I'm gonna do, no, I'm not, because I hate doing that. Okay, so then what I need to, I need to take this, I need to take like a 1/2 inch off this. So I'm gonna take a 1/4 inch off each side, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to put a sentiment on this. If I take a 1/4 inch off, I think it'll keep it fairly centered. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Okay. So my blade is pretty jacked up because I just haven't changed it. And this is watercolor paper, so it's definitely gonna like fray, which is fine if you want that look. But if you don't, just take an emery board and I just pull that along the edge, and that takes off all of those paper, like the fibers of the paper. And like I said, this is watercolor paper, so it's definitely thicker. So I just feel like it's not quite centered because I didn't stamp it centered. So I'm gonna take another little bit off that edge. just so that it is centered a little bit better. And I even think off the bottom. It's better to cut a little bit at a time than to cut too much off and ruin all the work you did. Okay, so I think that's a little bit better, and we'll have to clean that up again. Okay. So then I have this, and then what I'm thinking, see, I had no plan after I colored it. I didn't even know if it was gonna color all that well, and it did. So what I'm thinking will look like is like this. But maybe it's too much. Maybe that glitter is too much. What if I just put it on the black? So you love the glitter, okay? So keep it. Lynn says keep it. Okay. We're going to go with what Lynn says today. So what I'm going to do, because this is pretty chunky glitter, and I know that my watercolor paper can handle the glue, we're going to do a lot of this. And I really want it like right up to the edge. So then we're going to center this. Okay, and the thing is that it's not gonna slide around like normal. Like, you have a few minutes still, but it's not gonna slide. It's gonna be harder to do. So once you get that on there, okay, we're gonna leave that for just a second. And I'm gonna grab a white like inside, because it's black cardstock, right? So we need this at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then let's try to figure out a sentiment. So I'm thinking my best bet is going to be to do this little banner. Now this comes with dies, but I mean, we're just gonna go old school and we're just gonna fussy cut everything. So the first thing I'm gonna do, sending many thanks. Okay. Okay. This is gonna be easy, right? Right? What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so we need our embossing powder. We need our Versamark ink pad. Let's just try this. This is where, well, I mean, since I'm not doing it directly on my card, it will probably be fine. But this is where it could all go wrong. I'm always so scared with Versamark, particularly on watercolor paper. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and, I was going to like just do both at the same time and then add the embossing powder, but I actually think, now should I heat set that or should I just give it a try? Let's just give it a go. Okay, I gotta get right over this. So if you're seeing my head, I apologize. I'm quite certain I'm out of frame. Oh, this might have worked. Oh my. Okay, let's set this aside and then we'll heat set this. And then I think okay, so that turned out pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna cut this pretty close to the image. But there's a slight black border around it. I mean, not much, but hi, Nia. We were just emailing. I got done with an email to you and then I sat down to do this. Okay, so there's that. So now let's look at our card. That should be enough time. So that I'm thinking about putting it down here in this area since this is sort of high up. So let's attach this to our card base and I'm going to do that with foam. It depends, Lynn. Sometimes my hands are not like that and I get scared when they're not. A lot of times mine has to do with anxiety. On days that I really struggle, it shows in my hands and my breathing. I think that crafting today has calmed me down a little bit, so I'm probably a little bit more steady than I have been. Okay, so we'll take these off. And that feels like it adhered to the glitter pretty well. I don't feel like it's going anywhere. So let's make sure our card is opening up properly. And then we need a white surface to add this. So I'm gonna put it here kind of in the bottom of my trimmer. And then I can use it as a guide. See? Press that in. And then that came out really, really straight. And then let's add our white piece. Okay, and then we have our sentiment. So I think I'm gonna pop this up. And I have this thinner roll of foam. And what I'm gonna do is take off the backing on both sides, because then I can twist my foam. So see how that was easier to twist and manipulate without the backing on there? And then we're going to add that right there, and it hangs off into the glitter. Just like that. Okay, so y'all know I gotta add the bling. And I think I'm gonna go with, it depends on what sequence I have. I don't think I have, like the only orange sequence I have is like this really bright orange, which that obviously does not go. This is like grapefruit. Yeah, like a dark gold is what I'm thinking. Or the other thing that I have so I don't think I have the right color sequence. But what I do have the right color of is these Nouveau drops. Copper, that's what I was thinking. And this is Golden Sunset. So again, I'm not messing this card up. So what we're gonna do, so this is Golden Sunset. And then this is my favorite gold. Which one is it? It's not that one. This is Honey Gold, which I don't like. But where is my favorite gold? Oh, is it this? Yeah, this is Pale Gold. Which I think is a little too bright. So I actually think that this one, which is Golden Sunset, but let me just see if I have an orange. Probably the only color I don't have is orange. I have a bright orange, but I don't have like a dark orange. So I think this is gonna be my best bet. I could have used green, I guess. That would have been pretty, or a darker red. Or I could have done gold splatters. I was too afraid to do gold splatters. I'm always afraid, like, I mean, once you do the gold splatters, you're done. Like, if you don't like it, you can't take them off. So I'm always too scared. But this will give it a little something. Oh my, I really love this. This came out really pretty. A lot prettier than I thought. And I feel like as it gets... as it dries... Yeah, Andrew and I don't really like gold splatters. When Andrew and I are watching card making videos and they do the splatters, Andrew always freaks out. He's always like, no. Okay, so I really love the way this came out. And then it's white inside. Oh, thank you, Kathy. You should also have your Halloween class from me. Or maybe you already got that. You might have already got your Halloween class. It has your paper party prize in it and your Halloween class. I had a couple packages go out to you. So I like the way this came out. I think I will experiment with more colors. Like, I really wish this, like, maybe if I would have used a purple, like, that would have been really pretty. I wasn't sure how this would turn out. Using the inks with the metallic paint like that. But, man, you get a lot of buck for your... like a lot of bang for your buck with our stamp pads because, I mean, you literally can do so many things with these. You can watercolor just normal. I just figured out you can watercolor like in this metallic way. You can stamp. There's just so much you can do with these and I love them. Okay, you guys, so thanks for hanging out with me today. I feel a little bit better than I did when I started. So I will take some photos of this and I'm going to make it a goal to push through and write a blog post and get photos done and a supply list. And then I will be back on Friday for a memory keeping video. I have a whole stack of layouts that I've done that I would love to share with you guys. And so I think that's what I will do. I think that's what I will do on Friday. So thank you guys. Let me just take you off my stand here. It'll be a little shaky for just a second, but I'll show you that. The light is. Look how pretty that is. How fun, right? All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you back on Friday.